How deep do your prospective clients have to go to find you on the web? When they do find you, what do they find?
SEO.
Internet marketing strategy.
Bounce rates.
Website performance.
Cost per click.
And social media.
Conversion rates.
This is Edge of the Web with Aaron Sparks.
Good morning. Thank you for checking us out. This is Edge of the Web Radio, provided by Site Strategics, a local Indianapolis, Indiana search engine optimization and social media management firm. My name is Aaron Sparks. I'm owner of the company, Site Strategics. I want to introduce John Thompson. He's also a project manager for Site Strategics.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell you what, we are getting started. This is show 9 of Edge of the Web Radio. Tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. John, take it away.
Sure. We offer SEO consulting. We do social media, link building, ranking reports for small, medium-sized companies. Mm-hmm. We basically work with sitting down and creating site strategies for successful web solutions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot out there whenever you get to, if you're a business owner and you scratch your head on, why my website is not showing at the top of the ranks on Google for any particular Google search. It's kind of daunting. You don't know how to actually get that site. A lot of times you just think that all you got to do is just pay for that positioning. Well, Google and Yahoo and Bing, they all have certain algorithms, certain measurements to be able to see the validity of your site in comparison to other websites. And it's not just a pay-to-play type of environment. And we're giving education on a regular biweekly basis to business owners and internal IT staff of companies of what they need to do to help improve their standings. There's a lot of questions that you may have, like where do you start? How do you even compete in social media? How does Google ranking even work for websites? And more importantly, how does this all affect my bottom line? So we've created this show that allows you to understand the steps in the process of grooming your online presence, and we've actually kind of put together a program to kind of get away from geek speak, for lack of a better phrase, and it's an instructional program over the course of a number of weeks. We call it our internet marketing Hemi, and it's an 8-cylinder type of Hemi that talks to all the different points that you have to pay attention to on a regular basis. John, can you give me some idea of what those different cylinders are?
Yeah, just some examples of those cylinders. We have social media, email marketing, analytics, content marketing, lead generation. We have the organic and email marketing. Mm-hmm. So there's 8 cylinders in total, and we try to hit on not all 8 of those during each show, but a little bit of each one and guiding out through the 12-week or 24-week process, I believe, and just trying to encourage all small business owners to dig in there and try it themselves, and we try to provide those tools. So
absolutely. And we also realize that as we give this information out, you're not going to be able to execute all the different things that we're communicating, and part of that is the sheer focus of what we do is we want to show you the ladder to climb up, and a lot of times you don't have the time to do that. So we want to ask you to contact Site Strategics. We can certainly help, give you some ideas, sit down with you, talk about the strategy of your company. We actually have a free of charge hour consultation. If you come to our offices, we're on the south side. You can reach us throughout the entire work week on our local number at 317-882-8500. You can also come across us on a toll-free number at 877 SEO for web, or for people that don't want to translate that, I'm one of them, is 877-736-4932. How do you find us on the line? Yeah.
Well, you can type in Indiana Search Optimization. We'll be up there at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Indianapolis SEO, Indianapolis Search Engine Optimization. If we're at the top, you know that we're following our own examples, right?
That's right. Actually, that's where we get probably the most of our leads. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what we're doing, we explain what we're doing on the show, and we want to go over what we did last show, and this was show number 8. Can you cover what we actually talked about on that last show?
We talked about Google links and Facebook marketing.
Mm-hmm. Some conversion focus, right?
Keywords and landing page optimization.
That's right. And that was a pretty good in-depth analysis of what you need to do from Facebook optimization as well as landing page optimization. What that means, if you didn't hear the radio show, guess what? We actually have a heck of a lot of resources for you to make use of. We podcast this show at the end of every show, within hours of this show. We actually have an online at edgeofthewebradio.com, and on top of that, on iTunes. So you can download it to your iPod or your iPhone, or your iTunes, for that matter, and just look up our company's name, Site Strategics, or Edge of the Web Radio, or my name, Aaron Sparks, ERIN Sparks. You'll find all of our shows listed there. We also are making a series of YouTube videos with each one of these different shows, and we're doing a little bit more. We're actually breaking it into more digestible segments of about 12 minutes or so, and we're also piping in a number of screenshots, bullet points about what we're talking to, so we can give you a little bit more of a breadcrumb of information. So go check those out. They're rife with information about what we're talking about, and we'll put in a few tips and pointers that we don't mention on the show as well. Mm-hmm. Tell me what's coming up in the show today.
Well, we're actually going to hit on what we did last show and what was coming up this show. The news, local optimization, your cylinders this week. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the news. We have one talking about Google bans the agency who buys links. Mm-hmm. Facebook testing some new features, one being a new star, so you can close your close friends, trying to manage your friends because they're becoming so abundant. Mm-hmm. And then Google Places updates. No more P.O. Box policy, and they've actually had some news where they've rolled that into your own Google Plus profile now. Yeah. Well,
let's just jump right into news. How about that? Google bans an agency. Now, we're always paying attention to what Google does. They're the masters of the game, so to speak, and we don't have to play by their rules. That was an interesting story here a couple weeks back, and it was kind of telling. Now, if you hadn't listened to our show, we had been talking about Penguin Update, which was around April 25th, April 22nd, something like that. There was an update that Google did to their algorithm, which changed a lot of ranking positions for websites that were optimized with certain effects. They were optimized sometimes with some negative or some black hat type of techniques, some spamming of words, some spamming of links, and they kind of shifted the game. So a lot of fallout happened from that update. But on top of that, they're also making regular news with different penalties and different things that they do. So we always have to pay attention to the newswire and seeing what happened to certain organizations or what efforts were made to help improve their organics. This was one of them. There was a company called iAcquire that was outed by another SEO, SEM company called iisocial.com. And this company, iisocial.com, actually outed iAcquire for buying links. They actually reported to Google that this company was buying links through affiliates of their out there for another organization you may know, Dun & Bradstreet. Mm-hmm. So this iAcquire was actually really kind of gaming the system. Now, you can buy links on websites. That's not terribly negative, and you want to have links for a website, but these guys were doing it one more. They were actually buying links for themselves, while they were also buying links for Dun & Bradstreet, and this other company was saying, hey, they're doing something negative over here, and Google actually paid attention, and they delisted iAcquire from their Google index completely. Now, this is the first time that a agency has been banned and completely delisted. Previously, there has always been bans on collective clients of an agency who were practicing in a particular spam technique or a link pool, something like that. But this is the first time that the agency actually got smacked. So you gotta. I mean, in our line of work, you have to be obviously understanding risks of doing different things, and that's why we perform white hat SEO on a regular practice. We don't cross that line into black hat manipulation. Sure,
you better believe that if an agency gets their door slammed by Google, that's 80% of their business right there gets shut down.
Absolutely. So that was an interesting thing, of note. So The next news item was kind of interesting. Facebook is testing a new star feature for friend feeds. Now, check this out, John. This is an interesting bit of information, and this is kind of a beta test that they're rolling out here right now. You can basically star your friends if you have a Facebook account. You know, your friend feed, and as you build friends, you got a truckload of feeds coming through, and a lot of times you miss some of the stuff that maybe your more important friends have posted, right?
Right.
And yeah, you always hear that, oh, didn't you see my Facebook feed or what have you? It's like, I'm sorry, I got 200, 300 different people chiming in to my main page, right?
Well, and you brought this up to me, and I thought, well, wait a minute. They already got ways to filter your friend feed by most updates or just none at all, right? I guess they just want to throw in some new mixtures.
They basically want to give you the ability to set different friend importance inside of your own account. So they're actually allowing you to see more of a particular status, more status feeds from a friend as opposed to B friend, and what they're doing is kind of going into the realm where there's been a lot of sociological talk about this, is that inside social network, you just cannot pay attention to so many connections. And if they're all in the same pool, everything gets diluted. Well, Facebook is actually bringing out a way to kind of categorize your core friends a little bit more. So these friends won't know that they've been actually starred, but it solves the problems of unseen status updates and categorizing friends. And it's very similar to what Google Plus has been doing with being able to have certain feed content go into business associates, certain feed content going into friends and acquaintances and what have you.
The circles.
Yeah, the different circles. That may limit the number of friends that they actually may limit the number of friends that you can star, which makes it even more kind of like the your 5 phone numbers on your cell phone is your friends and family group. Well, now you're actually are going to be able to put star association on a certain number of friends, and there's going to be a limited amount. So everyone's going to be wanting to vie for that star status. But here's the important part: what they're doing is actually doing this in the beta test for your friend feed because they're going to introduce it to businesses. You're going to be able to star businesses, and businesses are going to want to actually have you star them. So the status of the business feed will come up in a prioritization as opposed to other businesses or other organizations or other causes that you've liked on Facebook.
And I told you I'm a little bit skeptical of all this kind of management because not only did the businesses have to go out and get the people to like their page now they're going to have to be vying for them to get their likes starred. Right. And then what's next? They get the stars squared? Is that what happens?
They're making it up as they go along.
I'm just saying.
But here, what's neat is you actually correlate this to there was another initiative, a social media initiative, about 2 years ago. I think somebody from Facebook or somebody from Google. I think it was from Facebook. They actually went out and did their own social media venture, and it was a social connection network that limited you at 51 friends. That's all you could have. And they were basing it off of sociological studies of if you go beyond that particular friend base, then all your communication suffers, dilutes, and you actually become more receded or unplugged because you don't have that level of connection and importance. That they've done these studies that it's kind of like concentric circles, So the last, anyway, it's a neat thing. Get to watch that because I'm sure it's going to cross over into the business realm. All right, last bit of information from our news today. Google Places. Now, that's not called Google Places anymore, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But an update was done for Google Places that you can no longer put a P.O. box in your Google Places. If you're not familiar with Google Places, it's the display on whenever you do a search. It's a local positioning of some companies that are around your particular area. They have a new policy that forbids a P.O. box in the address 1 and 2 fields. Google Maps listing must reflect the business's physical location, and the policy change could actually affect companies trying to make themselves larger or with more Google Place listings. If you can put so many different P.O. boxes out there, you can have basically 12 different offices And that's what they're pushing against, is they no longer can even have a P.O. box. So for companies that actually have a legitimate P.O. box, you're going to have to change and figure out a different physical address. Now, they're not penalizing companies, but they're not allowing any more P.O. boxes to actually go through anymore. So there's a little bit of tidbit of information. We're going to talk more about Google Places and what has happened in the entire Google sphere as we're going to be coming back. This is Edge of the Web Radio. Stay tuned. We got a lot more information to pass on. Edge of the Web Radio. Talk to you very soon.